Welcome back to the channel, everybody. By now, your SQL abilities have grown to the point where you want to join two SQL tables together using multiple join keys. Today, I'm going to show you how to do that in MySQL. Okay, here we are in MySQL, and we have two tables that we want to join together. We have this logins table, and then we have this revenue table. So here is our logins table. As you can see, we have each customer or player with a customer ID and their login dates. So before joining two tables together, what you need to do is figure out what the granularity of that table is, or in other words, how uniqueness is defined in each of these SQL tables. So we will do this now in our fact player logins table. So for example, we could check to see, is this a table where there's only one record per customer ID? So let's take a look at this now. We can do customer ID and just do a count. And again, this is just us testing to see what the granularity of this SQL table is. So we will do a group by. And let's limit our results just a little bit. Okay, so judging by the results, we can confidently say that uniqueness is not defined by just customer ID in this logins table. As you can see, we have this customer right here in row 4 that has 4 records, so 460, 41, etc., etc. This customer has at least 4 records in this table, right? So let's continue our hunt on trying to understand what the granularity of this table is. So again, you can figure out how many fields you need in your join condition based on how many fields define uniqueness in your SQL table. So we can try this again and say, is this a SQL table where uniqueness is defined by customer and login date? Let's try it. Let's bring back just a few records. And if the value returned in this count field is 1, then we can be pretty confident that uniqueness in this table is defined as customer ID and login date. So that appears to be the case. Let's be 100% sure and see if we can find any records where the count is greater than 1. And if the result that we get back is completely empty, then we know that the granularity in this specific table is by customer ID and login date. Okay, the results returned empty, so we're good. We understand the granularity of this table. So if uniqueness is defined by 2 fields, you know you need 2 fields in your join statement. If uniqueness is defined by 1 field, like customer ID, then you just need 1 field in a join statement. So now let's take a look at our revenue table. Again, our objective is to bring revenue over to this logins table. Okay, so we have 3 columns. We have the customer ID, the purchase date, and what appears to be an aggregation of revenue by customer and purchase date. So let's check to see if This revenue table has the same granularity as our fact player logins. Meaning, is uniqueness defined in our revenue table exactly the same way as our logins table by customer and date? If so, then they'll be compatible to be joined together with multiple join key conditions. Let's pull a few demo records to see if the count value returns as 1. And then we'll see, okay, it's returning as 1. And then we'll see if we can filter for any examples where the value is greater than 1. If we don't get any examples and it returns a blank, like it did in the logins table, then we know that these two tables have the same granularity, that uniqueness is defined by customer ID and date, and that we can join them together using multiple join keys, so customer ID and date. Okay, so it returned empty as well. This means we are good to join these two tables together because they have the exact same granularity. So let me clean up our workspace just a little bit. So this is our logins table. This is table 1. As you can see, we have our customer ID, login date, total sessions, and then total session minutes per customer per date. Great. The one thing we want to do is just bring across an additional column here that returns daily revenue, or the amount of revenue that this customer generated on this day. And we're going to accomplish that by joining over to fact player daily revenue using a join statement that has multiple keys. So we'll be joining on customer and date between the two tables. We can call this logins. Let's return the columns that we want. So columns, customer ID, and then we want the login date. We want total sessions. We want total session minutes. And then we're going to simply just do a left join because we want to preserve or keep all the records from table 1 or this logins table. And then if there are any matching records based on customer ID and date, then bring across revenue for that day for this specific or each of these customers. We'll go here, we can rename this table revenue, and then here is us doing a join statement using 2 keys, so multiple keys. So on the logins, customer ID is our first key, and then our second key is, make sure to include an and. Our second key is right here, which is logins.login date equals revenue.purchase date. Great. So here's our join with multiple keys. So 2, customer, and then date. Awesome. Okay. So when there's a match, we're going to bring across the revenue column from the revenue table. And if there isn't a match, let's make sure that we convert those nulls over to a real value, which is 0. If not, the value would be null, and we just want to make sure instead of null, we convert it over to a 0. Call this revenue. And we are effectively done. Let's run this. Okay, great. So Because of this successful join, we brought across this new column from table 2 called revenue. And then again, these columns over here, the first 4 are from our first table, table 1, which is our logins table. So this is great because not only do we have sessions and session minutes, but for the day and for the customer, we also have revenue. So let's go over to Excel and look at this a little more. Here is our data in Excel. In column E, again, this is our new column that we brought across from table 2, or our daily revenue table. We joined on customer and login date, and we're able to create this custom data set using, rather than one join key, 2 join keys. If you like this content, please continue to like and subscribe. Also share, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.